Blood, kicking off another fantastic week of matches. There were a lot more replays with this week's pack, so I'm excited to say gonna have a lot more games to cast for you. This tournament runs like in the middle of the night, US time, because it is run in Korea. It is an online tournament for Korean players to be able to earn a couple of extra bucks, but of course anybody can compete. You just have to play on the Korean server. So without further ado, in the bottom left, we have the red Protoss player. He is herO. Representing DKZ, if that is still a thing. I really just like that his portrait appears to be, he's just got, is that Zest? No, Zest is a little hotter than that. It could be, so it's not herO. I mean, herO's way better looking than that. I don't know. I don't know whose banner he's using. His opponent in the top right. You may know him, an American Terran player, much like myself, except a little bit better than me, maybe a lot better than me. He is Future from IMXL. So I'm gonna guess that he's one of the 300 Spartans based on this logo. It also reminds me of the herO logo, which, surprise, surprise, if you look up the Korean Starleague, you can actually find them on Patreon and herO. Why do I plug them? They don't pay me. That's okay. They run this tournament. Dave Testa, Chicken Man SC, they put in a lot of work. They also organize and name all of the files for us so that even if we can't get to catch them live, I'm sure you've seen a bunch of other people commentating the matches. I know Loco was posting in there, thanks to them. So I'm going to assume he's got some cool stuff in the works as well. But herO, he gets that probe across early, and he was just trying to see, what are you up to? Double gas from the Terran typically signifies really fast factory, sometimes a proxy. The Reaper comes out and kills the probe, and that's a really big pickup, because if you get a chance, you want to go up that ramp and see what add-on. You want to see the add-on. You want to see what the Terran's trying to do. The Reaper might have missed this Zealot, so if herO can get over here, it can make things a little bit awkward. We did talk about it. It was double gas, which means there is no there's no natural, there's no third base, there's no, I don't know why my brain went to third base. Obviously there's no third base, but the bigger thing is the Zealot can't deny the natural since it's not being made down there. The Reaper goes in for a scout, but he sees, okay, you've got the reactor here, and if any factory units come out, he'll know that the factory was built at home. But as a Protoss, you have a checklist of things you always want to be aware of. Has the Terran opened with double gas? If they've opened with double gas, what add-on do they make with their barracks? Where is their factory? Is it in their base? Is it being proxied? And the same thing can be said of the starport. So oftentimes when you have a player like herO, it's a little bit more about his plan though. So I don't think that he's super worried about what Future would do, but I think that he's showing a little bit of respect. If you know Future, he's definitely one of those NA Terrans that will break out the full NA builds against you. And when you're kind of a crazy player like herO is, and herO has been his whole career, you know, you don't actually want to run into the other crazies. The weird builds tend to work much better against players who are following something more standard, playing a little bit more of a traditional setup. That's when you're going to see those crazy builds become powerful. But you just got, I would describe this game, it's two psychopaths against each other. Obviously herO has quite a reputation, and if you've been watching competitive StarCraft at literally any point ever, you guys may remember CJ Entis herO. That is the team that he used to play on for quite a while. We're one of the original Kespa Protoss players to come over and party hard with Nathan at DreamHack Stockholm. I got a lovely photo of myself with this man imparting. It's a little bit blurry though, sadly. None of us were all there for that picture, but it was a good time. He's going to send the Cyclone out now. So Cyclone is the big bully. Adepts, they don't really do anything against it. Typically, they're not supposed to be able to reach it because the Cyclone has a great range. But he says, I'm willing to bleed some damage on the Cyclone to kill the extra Adept. So 2 of the Adepts die, but they're not really important in this matchup. I don't think anybody cares too much about the Adept specifically. Now, the Oracle comes in and gets 3 kills total, 2 workers, and that's a nice pickup, so... It is a little bit pinned down by the Cyclone, so he's going to recall, and that is a really good grab for Future. I find it very rare to be able to force out that recall from the Protoss so early. Sometimes you'll see it done with the Probe Scout, but it's not always going to be the way that people approach it. So the tank comes way forward towards the ramp. Is he expecting units to come up the ramp? There's just the air units here from herO. He has 2 real Phoenix. And what does he see? Third command center. Oh, actually eats a Widowmine shot. Takes some damage on his Phoenix. But a Widowmine doesn't kill a Phoenix in one hit, so that's not too big of a deal for him. But he sees a pretty late start for Stim. When you see the barracks landing on that tech lab, if we look at his vision, he had not even seen it land yet. It was still in the air. So that tells him very late Stim, very late bio follow-up. And if there is a transition that is made, it's going to take a little bit of time. So for herO, that's okay, because he has his third base coming in. He's got extra tech on the way in the form of a Twilight Council, his Forge, and he's already got a Robo Bay. Everybody loves the Robo Bay. So many Protoss players get that Robo Bay super fast, even if they don't end up needing it a crazy amount. But look at that extended thermal lance. This is a big, big, big one. Especially since I believe this was played recently enough that it's on the quote-unquote new patch. But if you haven't heard, they did accidentally patch Protoss almost back into relevancy with the Colossus buff this week. According to them, well, actually, we didn't get a statement from anybody. We don't know if it was an accident, intentional, what have you. But Colossus range got buffed. For better or worse, whether intended or otherwise, Colossus range is a better upgrade than it was a week ago. So, yeah, it's a very hard thing to explain, but they nerfed the Colossus a long time ago, which kind of made it an irrelevant unit since it's a little prone to being shut down by either Vipers or Ravens. It doesn't really have a natural defense for point-and-click abilities like that just kind of neutralize them, so they went to, what, 7 range, and then extended thermal lance was made to be +2 so that the Colossus would peak at 9 range, which is about the same as the Viking. But now the Colossus will actually peak at 10 range, fully upgraded. So when that thermal lance is done, we're going to see a 10 range Colossus here, and it's very real. There was no patch notes, there was no community feedback update. There was no balance whining from Nathanias about a Protoss being buffed, so that's how you know that things were definitely out of left field. Personally, I love it. Protoss players, you know, they're not. Sadly, we don't really let them sit at the lunch table with us, do we? As a community, we really don't. So, I think they still deserve to eat, though. I hope you'd agree. herO, Adept, watching the center position. Stasis Ward watching the west position. He's got stasis wards and pylons. Oh my gosh, look at this. This is what I love to see. It's a ton of minerals. It's a ton of pylons. But he needs them anyway. They provide supply. It's not entirely useless. He's just putting them in strategically key locations so he doesn't get caught off guard. Now, this is still a big push from Future, but the Big Daddy Colossus is here with his 10 range, and that's a huge deal of how much more difficult it is to get the jump on them. Now, a Warp Prism counterattack from herO with the Oracle getting into the third base mineral line, picks off 5 SCVs, 4 charge lots warped inside of his base. He's running them underneath the medevac, actually picks them up to save all of them. So he not only sets off the mines and then saves the zealots, the Prism even gets out. That's pretty filthy. He was looking for the rest of the army. herO brought the 2 Colossi, said, I'm just gonna eat up this Terran bio ball for breakfast. And instead he finds himself with, I don't know, maybe more of a brunch type situation. He wanted pancakes, but he got a turkey club. And he said, I came here for breakfast. And they said, well, you know, brunch crowd is a little bit more about mimosas and clubs. That's it. You know, you want a turkey club? We got it. You want a ham club? We're there. Roast beef club? Absolutely not. Get out. You're banned for life. But every other kind of club, they've got it. Roddy in the club, they've got it, etc. So herO, everything has led up to this, right? He has a ton of zealots. We saw the zealot harass begin early on. You have the Big Daddy Colossus with the huge amount of range that can be a little better than usual. They are kind of close to the Marauders, but not going to be too much of an issue. Stalkers warped in inside the main base. And Future, this is what happens when you play a top Korean Protoss player. That is said, he still has a lot of supply, but the force fields on the ramp. Oh, I was gonna say he got out in front of the natural, but the main base ramp gets completely shut down. He hits a fat EMP, dead center of herO's army. Now here's what I want to know: is herO just gonna? Oh, he's just gonna keep warping in. All right, I was wondering if he was gonna recall or not. I'm like, is he gonna recall? Is he just gonna warp in again? Look at these Colossus. Look at it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm watching Colossi microwave dudes, and I have to tell you, that's a lot better. It's a lot better than I would typically It's a lot better than I would typically say for that experience. That was very well done. Very well done. Let's go to game 2 and find out what happens next. This KSL, I was told there was some wild stuff that went down. So if you're wondering why we're watching this, why it matters, it's because I like good games of StarCraft, and now you have to deal with them too. Welcome to my life. Welcome to purgatory. You've been captured by rebels. You're now being forced to watch StarCraft 2 until your body crystallizes into I don't know, some sort of arthropodic state where you can then evolve into a beautiful butterfly. But at least until that moment comes, you are trapped here, enjoying StarCraft 2 with me. Welcome in the top left, leading the series 1-0. He is Dragon Kaizu herO. I think that's the clan name, right? DKZ, Dragon Kaizu Gaming, right? If I got that wrong, just throw me back in jail. It's okay. In the bottom right, we have the blue Terran player. He is Future. And he is bringing a little slice of cheddar to the party. Someone would say, you know, bring meat sticks, cheese sticks for a little outdoor barbecue. He says, I'm bringing the whole wheel of cheese. And they told him that nobody wanted to sleep with the wheel in their tent. And obviously, if you leave a wheel of cheese out in a camping site, a bear will come for it in the night. So that means Future has a limited amount of time to get done what he wants before that big bear known as herO arrives. And he's already looking for the proxy. He saw, hey, you don't have a base in your base. Something is missing here. You have 2 geysers and no barracks. And he's not Masa. So if this was Masa, just to be clear, if we were casting Masa, Nate, why are you looking at this dead space? It's because his barracks would be here. Masa would just build his own barracks here, and then he'd float it back into his main, and the probe would see it and probably block it from even flying back inside. That's just the kind of thing that happens to him. So Future's SCV will come up off the proxy. He sees Cybernetics Core at the ramp. There is a Zealot on the way. But most importantly, he sees the Nexus has just started. So he is up against a 1-base Protoss setup, because it is, again, gateway into core. So it's not going to be a delayed ability to get a Stalker or an Adept, like if he had gone for a gateway, then Nexus, then Cybercore. When that happens, the Reaper opening becomes a nightmare. Probe going for the T's. Not going to get it. SCVs complete the citizen's arrest. Who got the kill? Was it the 1 HP guy? 1 HP? Yeah, look at that. Absolutely no fear, ladies and gentlemen. No fear. A real herO. Beautiful. Now we look back at the probes as he does. Ooh, nice little shot to open the back door up so he can continue to just be annoying. I said that the Cybernetics Core was coming in at a time where it could be useful, but it still takes time and money to make an Adept, and this Reaper has been a thorn in the side of herO. Not only did he wall off the front of his natural, so this cliff is always going to be exposed in the main, but these units are coming out in the natural as well, so he might even have to shade just to get to his own mineral line to push the Reaper down. All of this just adds up to make the game super painful. Future getting tons of damage. Another probe kill. What's the total? What's the total? Producer, where's the production team? 5, 6 pro. Oh, he's got another one in the main. He's trying to get a shield battery, but it's too late. If you told me that there was a chance that an American Terran player could defeat herO, my herO, and I don't mean the abridged anime series, I mean literally, this is my herO right here. His name is herO. If you told me he was going to lose to an NA Terran player building Reapers, I would say, oh yeah, proxy 2 or 3 racks, you get lucky, play cross server, ping. No, he proxied 1 barracks, and he just killed everything. So yeah, I literally don't even. This might have been played on US West. I'm not sure if the replay information actually saves the server. I think I loaded it from US West, so that's why it says that. Although I suppose the profile info probably says everything. So we've got Magfield as the follow-up. He has a command center to float down to the natural. He's building a Viking in case another Warp Prism shows up. And perhaps the most important thing is he's getting a second barracks. So when I see a Magfield early, it's the Cyclone upgrade. So this just increases the Cyclone's lock-on damage by 50%. That's it. That's it. Once upon a time, there were other stipulations to what this upgrade meant, but all you need to know is it's a 50% damage increase for Cyclones. That is it, by and large. It only affects the lock-on ability, not their regular attack, but honestly, Who even uses the Typhoon missile pods? You probably didn't even know that that's what they were called. I don't know too much about Typhoons. I just know that a typhoon is when it rains a tremendous amount for like days on end. That's the best of my knowledge. I used to think it meant a waterfall tornado. Shout out to the Pennsylvania Department of Education. Not. Anyway, Warp Prism has a small force in the center of the map. A couple of extra stalkers are going to be warped in for herO to try and make his next move. Now the real question becomes, since he is low tech and low economy, 36 probes with 37 SCVs, it's a very difficult position. He doesn't have blink. There is no easy way to engage the tanks. As a result, he could try to shade the adepts onto them. But even then, they're still kind of tucked back. Is he just going to go for it? No, that would definitely not work. He has a Raven, so he can also, in a couple of seconds, will have enough energy to use that interference matrix. An interference matrix would completely shut it down too, because he can't load or unload the prism with that. And even these tanks are getting a little anxious. He doesn't want to get baited into shooting at himself with his friendly fire. herO's trying to micro on two fronts, but the moment he loads those stalkers up into the prism, that's when you have to expect the interference matrix. He just drops an auto turret, so he's trying to buy time. He just wants time. He's continuing to get kind of beaten down, though. Now herO recognizing, oh, your Viking and your Cyclone are both weak. Some bio units are going to try to come out and stop this attack, but he gets the Viking, pulls back into the prism, and he's going to continue to run away. Auto turret gets dropped, so he burns the energy on the Raven twice. Don't worry. There's just two observers hanging out. It's fine. They've been roommates since 95. Everybody knows that. Prism is going to be able to head back home. And herO has recovered somewhat economically. I'm not going to pretend that he's in a good place, because there is no scenario where I would look at a Protoss at 46 to 44 SCVs and say that they're fine. Future, with mules, he should be pulling in a little bit more money. I think he's been slightly conservative due to the attacks that have been coming his way. So if we look at the income tab, we can see that it's not crazy. herO has more of his workers, mining minerals, I guess. He hasn't completely... Well, he did take the gas in his natural. I don't know. I don't know how his mineral income is higher. They both have a very similar number of workers per base, but maybe the mules just mined out one of those main base mineral patches, and he just has less to work with there. Either way, the third for herO is tremendously late. By all measurements, Future has kneecapped him. He showed up with a baseball bat. He blindsided him. He sucker punched him. Whatever you want to call it. He decided to launch a kryptonite arrow through his window before he even revealed that he was in this episode. Whatever. Raven, by the way, helps them pop the observer as that warp prism comes back, and he's gonna scan. He gets it. Very nicely done. There are a couple of charged zealots in the base, but there's not that many of them. There's really not that many zealots. He's gonna lose a marauder, it looks like, and then the widow. Oh, why not let the mine? Yeah, I don't know about that. I would have liked to just let the mine kill him. Looks like something died up here. He was trying to make another move forward with the rest of the army. Was that the Raven? Yeah, the Raven got sniped. May have also been hit by a feedback. It's a lot of bio cutting this base off, however. herO does have Size Storm, but he did burn, I think, pretty much all of his ability to make use of that and then turn it into the Archon. So it's just a big bio ball against a gateway army, and he used the overcharge. He used the overcharge on the third base. This is what makes it really, really difficult. He has to wait for the Templar to get the energy. We're still at about 55 apiece. Needs 20 more for Storm. And his cybernetics core, his gateways are all under attack. He's trying to get the Widow Mines between the bases, preventing them from launching onto themselves. And if he gets onto those Templar, it is GG. They're at about... The energy is getting a little bit higher. I think they're close to that 65 mark, so there should be a storm relatively soon. But these are the gateways. This is the bread and butter of herO's production. He didn't have as much in the main earlier. Everything was kind of focused around stopping the Reapers at the beginning, and that turned into a liability down the line. He can only warp in Zealots and High Templar. He's going to come in. There's the drop out of the prism. Big storms on both sections of the bio, but there's just no meat. Where is the meat? GG. Future ties the series up 1-1. That's amazing, because I did get a dummy replay. I did get a fake dummy replay of this to look at. So I was all like, great, grand, wonderful. I didn't even know if it was real. I had absolutely no clue, but it turns out it is real. And that makes me very happy because I just assumed naturally that the Korean guy would obviously win against the American 2-1 or 2-0. I don't think anybody watching would disagree with me, by the way. I think even you, naysayer, who's saying to themselves quietly, I disagree for no reason other than to disagree, I would say that that doesn't count, and then you still agree with me. So there you go. I no longer accept the positions of contrarians because you don't really believe in it anyway, right? That's true though. You don't. So here we are in game 3. It's tied up in the bottom right. We have the red Protoss struggled a bit against that Praxia Riparino. He is herO. He's my absolute favorite Protoss. I know that you're wondering why I picked this match to commentate, and the first reason was 2 players that I really like. Second reason was TvP, and then third reason was just herO again. In the top left, we have the blue Terran player. He is Future. Sometimes I play some online games with a bunch of the NA dudes. I don't make enough time for them because my life is a little bit of a mess. But Future, I think I played against him. We do like 10 stacks. We get 10 people together that are basically all NA StarCraft Grandmasters, and we play League. The Future is like Masters ranked. He's very good. He spanked me. He spanked me silly the last time we scrimmed. It was bad. It was bad. That's the real reason I turned down their offers to play, because I'm horrible at League. And then they're like, let's get a stack going, and they all try hard, and like half of them are Diamond, and I'm like Masa's freaking Grandmaster at League, and I'm like, you know what? I think I'm good, guys. I don't know if I want to be the corgi in your purse. And then someone's like, well, corgis are a little big for purses, aren't they? And I'm like, thank you. Yes, exactly. You get it. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. I don't want to be the corgi in the purse. The Future's got his Marine rallying around. He's just looking to see, am I getting proxied? Is there something here I have to worry about? If you know herO, then you know that he has historically been a player that, especially when it matters the most, will bring out the craziest cheese, all-ins, what have you. Perhaps the most famous match that herO ever played, and this is a bit of a stretch because he's played a lot of them, was a grand final best of 7 against SOS in the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship. So they had IEM Katowice, where ESL's basically crowned their own champion every year outside of just our traditional world champion. And this was in an older system of StarCraft esports. We don't really follow this anymore, as my league is gone. The WCS, that was a big one. And now everything just kind of falls under the ESL Pro Tour umbrella. So it's not surprising that since we don't have esports for StarCraft at BlizzCon anymore, that we have to have our global championship be a different event. So, but back then, that accolade was still worth quite a bit. I mean, herO has played in so many amazing, high-level, intense series and across his career that make him just a deadly competitor. He was my favorite player on the Caster Civil War, where I picked him. I picked herO for my team, and he was fantastic. He won so many series that people doubted him in, and that's why I love him, because he's scrappy. herO represents everything that a Protoss player needs to be, which is not just good with the micro and the Protoss BS, but he has an understanding of how to play through games and strange situations. You know, when the train goes off the tracks, do you jump off and try to run for safety, or do you climb into the, you know, are you heading to the front and trying to fix that bad boy? You're trying to wrangle them back onto the tracks. I know that sounds dangerous and probably impossible, but hey, herO will at least try and get that train back on the tracks. That's what I'm saying. All right, not everybody has the confidence, nay, the killer instinct to go for it. But what he is going to go for is this Warp Prism. So very fast robo as he gets Viking rushed. He builds a Viking out of the what? So he's going to land a Viking in the main and just start killing probes while he pushes the front with Hellions. So he gets 3 worker kills. And this is just so bizarre. The Prism came over to try and save them. What? This doesn't get away, right? Just no hope. Nah, no. I mean, Vikings are made of paper mache. But the Hellions! Oh, probes lining up big time. 14 little robo probes microwaved and roasted and toasted. Okay, herO has to be dead. I can't believe I'm gonna say it. Is Future gonna win this match? Guys, I did not know the result. I just assumed we were gonna watch herO play a bunch of games. Future's got a Liberator inside of his base now as well, so he has to keep some units at home instead of warp in on the battlefield. And I just don't know anymore. The second tank is almost out, but he has the Prism. I feel like, yeah, unless he can snipe the tank right here, I just don't see it. Maybe he goes back around to the behind the mineral line. Here's one of the other interesting points. The starport is obviously not in his base, so he cannot make anything air-wise to deal with this. His Viking he tried to build and send home gets sniped. Great denial there from herO. So he needs to kill a lot of SCVs though to even out the economic damage that he has sustained. He's at 35 probes to 42 SCVs. I would say that this is an unplayable position for the average Protoss, but herO is not average by any definition of that word. The Liberator's finally killed, and he's going to be able to drop inside the natural. Careful, there is that siege tank. We can see there's only just a little lip here you could try to land on. Now, he might catch the starport, though. Even just getting this would still be nice. I don't think he can kill it because it's got a lot of health, and SCV should come over to save it, but take what you can get. Take what you can get. Take everything. What's in the Prism? Just the Immortal. Okay, so that could be an anti-tank neutralization option. The starport has been out of play, so no medevacs, no drops, no banshees, no battle cruisers, and you know when I say no battle cruisers, it really tears me up inside. So two of my least favorite words to put together. But with two Immortals inside the Prism, he can use the barrier and just drop directly on the tanks and try to take them out one by one. That is the correct way to do this. Gets one. I would load it up. You don't want to take real damage on the Immortals because you do plan on doing the same thing again. The stim is now exposed too. That's a very important thing to keep in mind. So all the Marines kind of have to be up there. He's just going to go for the siege tank. herO, you psychopath. He's going for it. Gets the tank. Loses everything though. I mean, he loses everything. He lost the Prism. He lost both Immortals. He lost almost all the health of both of these Stalkers. And we know that Protoss units cannot be repaired. All right, StarCraft is in the universe where John Deere won every lawsuit ever, so you just don't get to fix stuff. And now I do not know. I do not know what happens. I think Future is about to kill him. I think herO is a 2-base Protoss versus a 2-base Terran, which is never good. He's down half the army supply. He does have Storm on the way, but it's halfway done. And he only has one Templar. So, okay, he has one in the main too. That's good. So when that Storm finishes, he'll have two ready. But, oh, okay. Well, there you go. That's a cheek. There's my boy. There's my boy herO. Building a little proxy in the corner. Taking the Ninja base. His observer gets scanned and popped though. So if you're Future, oh, come on, man. Really? You trying to ruin my fun here? He got the observer. He found the ninja base. Is herO really not going to cancel it? He's got some time still. Oh, Zealots into the natural. Okay, a little warp in action. herO finally gets the worker lead back for the first time in about 20 years and immediately loses it again. So that all gets shut down. Not very surprising. He's going to go for a regular third base. So if we talk about things that are going nicely, though, for herO, he does have Storm. He researched it. He was able to get the energy on his Templar that he already had, and he added several more. So he did buy a lot of time. Things working against him. Future already has a Ghost Academy because he remembers the Templar, and he probably remembered last game, too. So he's going to dive in on the tank. Widow Mines are going to pop the Zealots. First Storm is going to go out onto the bio. Second Storm, third Storm comes out. Is it enough to clean it all up? Actually, yeah, just about. Almost. Barely not enough. Widow Mine kills the Archon. Immortal is super dead. I cannot fathom a universe where herO turns this around. I'm just excited to see how much longer this game goes on because I've mentally written him off. And I know for the hype of the cast, I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't tell you that I've mentally written him off. But I'm really trying to get across just how bleak the situation looks, because he is a huge favorite, and this is not good. So I think we might be seeing a pretty big upset from Future. A huge upset. If herO does not pull a rabbit out of his hat, he did get the third. That's the only positive left. There's already ghosts out to deal with his Templar. He can't afford to go into the Colossus. There's no Robo Bay. So all he can really do is just warp in Zealots, Archons, High Templar, and try to avoid EMP, which is, well, I mean, any Protoss players watching probably began to laugh profusely when I said that. Avoiding EMP isn't exactly something that you do. It's worth pointing out, too, in this situation, herO, he's only just getting that +1 attack, and it's not really that close either. Meanwhile, Future, he's got his +1 attack, he's +1 armor is finishing, and we are going to see him immediately go down to take this third as he moves out with a very large bio ball. He's got a, is this a 40-50 supply lead? Another couple Zealots are going to get eaten, and how on earth could you possibly hope to defeat this army? He's going to try and do some storm drop, maybe feed back the ghosts. I don't know. He EMPs the prism. I just don't see how it gets. I don't see how it gets easier from this point on. He brings one Templar down the ramp. It does not even get to storm. It just dies. He's going to hit all the Marines coming up, and they are so low, but he just needs one more storm in the middle of that, and I don't think he gets it, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think he gets it. The bio is weak, but it is enough. This absolutely has to be the death of herO. Immortal is gone. Archon tries to come and save things. Probes pulled off the line, and it's not gonna do it. herO taps out, and Future wins? What? Well, it seems like we're gonna have some more great matches to watch in this series, or this tournament, huh? Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.